We got it. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm super excited to be here today. I won't repeat the topic. It is all about creating career paths and how you can inspire actually for your team members to take ownership and develop their own careers moving forward. So let's actually start with the challenges. Something I experienced myself as a frontline agent in CX, but also that I observed within companies and managing teams, is that we have limited progress opportunities. So that's primarily because there are just not enough specialty roles or structure within CX teams to actually move into, or we limit them to people management roles, and not everybody wants to go that route. There's also an issue with recognizing the CX skills that we have and develop, and quite often they are not considered as transferable to other roles outside of CX, which is a shame because I think those skills are absolutely amazing and 100% transferable. We have issues where CX teams are undervalued in companies. It's not always the case, and it's changing, but there's still some companies that just don't want to invest enough into CX teams, which then leads to two issues that are listed here. One, missing development programs. We don't offer enough coaching, sponsorship. One of the things that I love about this community here is that that's one of the reasons that we're all here together, sponsoring and mentoring each other and supporting each other. And the same is also for CX teams. We just don't have enough of that for frontline people and entry-level people. And that also then creates another issue, which is the high turnover of teams. And now it's a little bit of the question, where do we start? Is it like we're not developing them enough and that's why they're leaving, or are they leaving because we're not developing them enough? And it's a vicious cycle that I encourage everybody to break. We don't often see enough sponsorship for CX people. So we talked about it, and it's really opening up opportunities for them to collaborate outside of their CX department and their general role with other teams and projects in different areas, testing parties, postmortems, ideating, resource creating, you name it. So that's another challenge that we see when it comes to career pathing. And because we limit all that, we just don't develop a lot of career paths for people. So when I started at CareerPlug, I joined as the manager. I had the director above me, and then I was managing a flat team, a bunch of like 13 or so frontline agents. And I just, as a servant leader, wanted to get to know them, their passions, really connect with them, understanding what the challenges and pain points were. And then from there, see what are the individual talents and opportunities that we have, but also collectively as a team, what are our opportunities and where do I need to fill the gaps? And once I had all that, I was able to actually create roles and a structure for my team to move people into that served their own career aspirations, but also that was solving bigger issues for the team. I also created individual development plans for every single one of my team members. Every quarter, we have a new skill goal so that there's also that accountability for them to move towards and really build a career path for themselves. I started to coach them more and offer them in general more resources, mentorship programs inside and outside the company, but also creating the space and the schedule for them to step out of their regular task, which is primarily queue work, live queue, and give them a chance to talk, to go to talks or conferences and attend webinars and do those courses. There's a lot of accountability needed from our side and to them until they have that skill set developed to be self-accountable and really motivated, self-motivated. But it connects a lot to the quarterly conversations, performance conversations and evaluations that I have with them, where I say, what is your progress? What have you achieved? Why and why not? What is your success? What can we repeat it? And what do you need to work on to continue opening and a career path and developing yourself and become marketable, so to say. And sometimes it's not possible to just create a role for everybody. So what I did is just create competency levels within each role so that a growth doesn't have to be just outside of a current role, but it can be also just within that. And with those levels, I also connected it to different compensation levels so that they kept motivated to just, again, feed into themselves and just develop themselves. Now, this is how it looked like when I started. And then once I listened and heard out and my team and I assessed what was needed and what the talent and weaknesses were, I actually created a specialty team, the tier 2 team, more on the product side, and they went that product route. Eventually, my director left and I became the senior manager of the team, also creating a career path for myself and also developing myself as a leader. And then I went back to my team, said like, team, I have way too much on my plate. And for me, it's really important to listen to them, to go to them and have them be part of the development of the team, have their say, not only for them to think about it and what they need, but also because of the buy-in. So I said, we can either hire externally a new manager, because right now, no one is quite yet ready to move into a people management role, or we can have those two specialty lead roles, team lead and training lead, and we hire internally. The entire team was on board to hire internally and wait for another manager. Eventually, those team lead roles became managers. So now the structure, I became director. The structure under me is I have 3 managers. They're all managing their own sub-team. We have still tier 1, tier 2. Within tier 2, we have another specialty role for a very specific cohort of clients. You can also have a QA lead or QA coordinator. There are different other roles that you can develop and create within, depending on the needs and the industry that you're in. And then we have the CT team, or the customer success or consultant team, and yet another specialty role that we created that is more on the data side and the QA side. So within all that, this slide is a little bit messy, so forgive my subpar graphic design skills, but career path doesn't have to be linear. So this actually reflects that very well. There are different routes that you can go, and you encourage your team members to go, not only within CX, but also outside of CX. And I encourage that quite a lot. I want them to move outside of CX if that's their interest. And I encourage managers from other teams to actually tap into my talent pool. As Paul said, this is it sounds counterproductive maybe, but it's not a scarcity mindset, but a abundance mindset. I can share my talent. And when I share my talent outside of CX in my department, I know that they're moving into a new role with the CX-centric approach, with the client in mind, and they can be strong voices and advocates for our clients. So the routes that I actually created was product, success or sales or client success, and then leadership route. And just because you move into one or the other doesn't mean that you can't move into leadership. That can be circular and you go back to that, but you can really develop into the product side, becoming a product engineer, support engineer. I have that actually happened. 2 people right now on track of becoming a support engineer, moving to the product team. We have specialty roles within that tier 2 side. And then we have the sales side. 1 person moved into the sales team, and 3 actually moved into the client success department, or partner success and enterprise level. Others went directly the leadership route and became supervisors or team leads, and then managers, senior managers. And in my case, I'm on track to develop myself further into the senior director side. And so all that experience and all this trajectory made me realize that there are 5 skills that I started to instill and really coach my direct reports and my team members, and to have a mindset, truly a growth mindset, and that is taking ownership of their growth and their aspirations for their career development. It's not wait until an opportunity comes to you, but really create that opportunity for you. Very often when they said, I wish we had a role like this, I said, well, why don't you create it? Draft it up. So communicate with your managers what you're looking for, and then make it happen. Take thought leadership, and not just management or people management, but really that thought leadership and problem solving for the team. And then obviously coachability and adaptability, maybe 2 sides of the same coin. But without that, growth doesn't really happen. If they cannot and they're not comfortable of stepping out of their comfort zone and being uncomfortable for a little bit, then a career path is not going to be successful. And with that, I think we're already on time, right, for a Q&A. I don't want to talk too much, but give some time for everybody to ask me questions.
Thank you, Kirsten. Appreciate that. There's some unique things that stand out. Now, whether you're a massive company or whether you're a small company, I think there's some really great things that you can take away. So with that, we do have a few minutes for preguntas. So if you have any questions, please post those in the chat. And and we can kind of address those for a couple minutes before we get you into your breakout rooms. While you're doing that, I do have a poll. So let me come up on Spotlight here. Okay, there we go. So while we have some questions coming in, now this is fun, Kirsten, because you don't have to answer all the questions that come in. You get to pick a few questions. We call this big fish bait, right? You're the big fish, and everyone that's putting questions in the chat right now, that's the bait. So you get to choose which ones you bite on. If we don't address your question, folks, we will address those in the LinkedIn group, which we'll give you a link to. So while you're picking which questions you want to answer, one of the polls that Alan wanted to run that's on your screen now is, and this seems to be a debated topic, so we wanted to poll everyone here. Do you tolerate or encourage your team to take other opportunities in other departments? So go ahead and answer that. Alan, do you want to add any context to this question?
Well, yeah, there's some people who just, in my discussions, have always said, I'm just the training department for every other department, and they somewhat resent it. And there's others who I think take Kirsten's approach and say, that'd be awesome to spread our customer mindset all out throughout the company, and are willing to then train. So this is a little bit of a poll to see which side of that question you're on.
So I'm the only one that can see the results right now. And so Kirsten, Alan, give me a percentage number of the percent of people that said yes. Kirsten first. What do you think? Yes, you do encourage other people to pursue opportunities in other departments. What percentage?
I would hope for 100%.
Okay, Alan?
I'm more like in the 75 betting.
75. Okay, this is pretty amazing. 76 people on this call, 10 didn't vote. No one knows what the results are, except for me. And now all of you. 100% of people said that they encourage teams to take other opportunities in other departments. So congrats, Kirsten. Good job. You got that correct. Yeah, good work there. Okay, so thank you for that. That gives you all kind of an idea of where everyone's at, which is kind of cool. Kirsten, which questions do you want to address?
Yeah, one question from I don't know, MC, I believe. D'Ambrosio is, how supportive was my people and culture team in the organization? And they were actually very supportive. But I would say that the biggest factor of getting everybody to buy into your vision for your team is to have a clear understanding of why those roles are going to not just benefit your team, but they're going to benefit the entire organization. So when you have that, and when you can very clearly speak to how you're going to create positive change for the clients and the organization with the new roles that you're creating, the buy-in should be there. So they've always been very supportive. Let's see what others. Another one was what metric I'm using to gauge employee engagement or happiness. So one of my metrics actually is the ENPS score that we have. It's sent quarterly by our people's team, but it's by department. I have consistently the highest ENPS score across the entire company of all the teams and departments, and I don't have any turnover. In the 3 years that I've been with CareerPlug, no one has left. I have departed with I have let go some people, but no one has left on their own to pursue anything outside of CareerPlug. Let's see, what is there? So how does a tier 1 agent become a support engineer? I have that quite a lot. A lot of people say that's impossible. I once actually was in a company where the engineering team said, like, if you're in CX, you will never become one of us. And that's really a shame, because there have been so many people that I've seen have done coding boot camps and taken any kind of courses to become engineers or developers, and they have moved directly into that without being in CX. So why would you not be able to do this via CX? So in my case, the 3 people, or the 1 person and the 2 people that are on track, they have all done courses in all kind of coding languages and have really just developed themselves. They have taken mentors and coaches to develop themselves, and then just moved into that role. So one is actually now a tier 3 agent on the product side. Awesome. How do you get, maybe one more question, or are we on time?
Yeah, one more question is great.
How do you get buy-in from leadership to invest in CX? Is there any revenue-driven approach? Oh yes, I love that question. any revenue-driven approach or argument you have to use. Well, I actually am working very intentionally to prove that a CX team is not a cost center, but actually a center that fosters and creates retention. In my case, the people, or the metric that I'm using is the percentage of people that actually reach out to my team and the number of those people that actually renew. And it's quite a lot. The majority of people that at least talk to us once are the ones that renew. And if they don't reach out ever to us, those are the ones that usually cancel. So proving and connecting that your team has impact in retention and gross retention is going to be really important. And when I do that, and when I, again, connect the vision of each role and how it connects to achieving overall the company vision and our revenue and retention goals, I get the buy-in from executive leadership team.
One thing that you talked about on the call that you and I had before this meeting also was being able to identify the goals of the company and tying back your efforts to how your team is pushing those goals forward, which is a whole separate lightning talk, but that was something cool I think you do as well, Kirsten.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Well, that is it. Kirsten, thank you so much, folks. If you can express your gratitude, your stoke, whatever it might be, you can give some applause. You can give a fist bump, whatever it might be. Kirsten, thank you so much. What an engaging topic. And I'm sure we'll see more on the LinkedIn chat. I also want to highlight Jonathan LaCroix's comment. I think it's great. He's like, I think this is biased by virtue of the people being on this call, getting 100%. And I would 100% agree with you.